Welcome to Cherry Hill Tuition, where incredible results are achieved. In this mathematics tutorial, I will cover some of the excellent processes used by Cherry Hill to achieve the highest grades. Let's get started. You will notice that the question numbers are not consecutive and do not start from 1. This is simply because the questions refer to the Cherry Hill specific material, but do not worry if you do not have access to this, as I will still cover the concepts in full. So question 2, solve the equation y squared minus 4y minus 45 is equal to 0. The first thing that we need to do is multiply the coefficient of y squared, which is 1, by the end number here. So 1 multiplied by minus 45 gives us minus 45. We now need two numbers that add to give us minus 4, the coefficient of y. So let's get a different color for that. And multiply to give us this number here. The first thing that we should do is list all the pairs that multiply to give us minus 45 and then see which pair adds up to minus 4. So we have 1 and minus 45. We have 45 and minus 1. We have 9 and minus 5. We have minus 9 and 5. Out of these pairs, the only pairs that could add to give us minus 4 are these two. Now let's test these to see which one gives us minus 4. 9 minus 5 gives us 4. Minus 9 plus 5 gives us minus 4. And this is what we are looking for. So the pair that we need is minus 9 and 5. So let's just write that here. Okay? Now, what we need to do next is replace minus 4y with these two numbers. It's important to note that we're not changing any value, we are just changing the way that the equation looks. So y squared minus 9y plus 5y minus 45 is equal to 0. So as you can see, minus 9y plus 5y gives us minus 4y. So again, we are not changing anything, we are just changing the way it looks. Okay? The next step is to separate this equation in the middle and factorize each side. So on the left-hand side, we have y squared minus 9y. We can take the y out as it's common in both terms. And then we have y minus 9 inside of the brackets. And on the right-hand side, we can take the 5 out because it's common in both terms. And then we have y minus 9. If these brackets are not the same, this means that you have done something wrong in your answer. But if they are the same, this means you are on the right track and your answer is most likely correct. Now that we've factorized, our first bracket is y plus 5, so it's the outside numbers. And the next bracket is the brackets here, so y minus 9. And this is equal to 0. Now, because it's asking us to solve, this means we need to find values of y. So y plus 5 is equal to 0 and y minus 9 is equal to 0. Now this is just basic algebra. We can take 5 away on both sides in order to get the y on its own, leaving us with y is equal to minus 5. And then we can add 9 on both sides here, leaving us with y is equal to 9. And that's our answer. Okay, now pause this video and try this question again on your own to check if you get the same answer. Question 4, solve the following equations. Okay, so part AI, we have 4x plus 8 over 3 is equal to 6. So we need to solve for x. Whenever we have an equation like this, the best thing to do is always try and get rid of the fraction. So in this case, we need to get rid of the denominator, which is 3. Now, right now, we are dividing by 3. So in order to get rid of something, we need to do the opposite, which is multiply by 3. So let's multiply both sides by 3. And we always do this to both sides of the equation. This leaves us with 4x plus 8 over 3 multiplied by 3 is equal to 6 multiplied by 3. Now on the left-hand side, the 3's cancel out, leaving us with 4x plus 8. And on the right-hand side, we have 6 multiplied by 3, which is 18. Okay? Now we need to ask ourselves, what is stopping this x from being on its own? Hopefully you can see it's the 8, and it's the plus 8, and it's the multiplied by 4. So step by step, we need to eliminate these two in order to get the x on its own. So let's start by eliminating the plus 8. The inverse of plus 8 is minus 8, so we minus 8 on both sides, leaving us with 4x plus 8 minus 8 is equal to 18 minus 8. On the left-hand side, the 8's cancel out, leaving us with 4x is equal to 18 minus 8, which is 10. And the last thing that's stopping the x from being on its own is this multiplied by 4. The inverse of multiplied by 4 is divide by 4. So we divide both sides by 4. This leaves us with x, because the 4's cancel out, is equal to 10 over 4. Now 10 over 4 can be simplified to 5 over 2. And that's your answer. Okay? Part II, we have 5 open brackets x plus 7 close brackets is equal to 3 open brackets 2x minus 1 close brackets. Now we need to try and solve for x. So let's start by expanding and simplifying and just getting rid of all the brackets. So 5 multiplied by x is 5x. 5 multiplied by plus 7 is plus 35. And this is equal to 3 multiplied by 2x, which is 6x, plus 3 multiplied by minus 1, which is minus 3. Now we can simplify this and collect like terms. So over here, guys, plus and the minus, that will give us a minus overall. So let's start by getting everything with an x on one side of the equation and everything without an x on the other side of the equation. So let's start by moving this 5x to the right-hand side. We do this by taking 5x away on both sides, leaving us with 5x plus 35 minus 5x is equal to 6x minus 5x minus 3. On the left-hand side, the 5x cancels out, leaving us with 35. And on the right-hand side, 6x minus 5x is just x. And then we have minus 3. Okay? And the last thing we need to get rid of is this minus 3. We can do this by doing the opposite, which is plus 3. And we do this on both sides. Leaving us with 35 plus 3 is equal to x minus 3 plus 3. On the left-hand side, 35 plus 3 is 38. And on the right-hand side, the minus 3 and plus 3 cancel out, leaving us with x. So x is equal to 38, and that's your answer. Okay? Now, again, pause this video and try this question again on your own without looking at my working out to check if your answers are correct. Question 5, solve the inequality x plus 3 is greater than x plus 2x plus 7. When we have inequalities, we can act as if this inequality sign is an equal sign. So we have x plus 3 is equal to x plus 2x plus 7. Let's just pretend that it is an equal sign, and at the end we will replace the equal sign with the original inequality sign. So on the right hand side we can collect like terms to make this a little bit more simple. X plus 2x is 3x, and then we have the plus 7. Again, all we are doing is trying to make x subject. In order to do this, let's get everything with the x on one side of the equation and everything without the x on the other side of the equation. Let's start by moving this x onto the right-hand side, so we minus x on both sides. This leaves us with x plus 3 minus 3 is equal to 3x minus x plus 7. So this should be a minus x, not a minus 3, so let's just replace that. On the left-hand side, the plus x and minus x cancels out, leaving us with 3. And on the right-hand side, we have 3x minus x, which is 2x, and then we have the plus 7. Now let's move the plus 7 onto the left-hand side. In order to do this, we take 7 away from both sides, leaving us with 3 minus 7 is equal to 2x plus 7 minus 7. And on the left-hand side, 3 minus 7 is minus 4. And on the right-hand side, we are just left with 2x because the 7's cancel out. And now we just need to get rid of this multiplied by 2, and we can divide both sides by 2, leaving us with minus 4 divided by 2, which is minus 2, is equal to x. Okay, now the last thing we need to do is replace the equal sign with the inequality sign. So all we do is replace the inequality sign. Okay, and that's your answer. So quite straightforward. Pause this video and try this question again on your own to check if you get the same answer. Question 6b, find the nth term of the following sequence. Okay, so the first step is to work out the difference between each term of this sequence. From 4 to 7, we add 3. From 7 to 10, we add 3. From 10 to 13, we add 3. And from 13 to 16, we add 3. What this means is that this sequence is related to the 3 times tables. So we get 3n. So let's write down the 3 times tables. We have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. As you can see, the first row does not match the second row. This means that our nth term cannot just be 3n. Let's now work out how to get from 3n to our sequence. To get to 4 from 3, we add 1. 7 from 6, we add 1. 10 from 9, we add 1. 13 from 12, we add 1. And 16 from 15, we add 1. This means that the sequence is 3n plus 1. Okay? So a level 9 student would now plug the values in and check if we get the sequence. So let's just say our first term is 4, and at our first term, n is equal to 1. If we substitute n is equal to 1 into our nth term, we should get 4. So 3 multiplied by n, which is 1, plus 1 gives us 4. Now let's try our third term. At our third term, n is equal to 3. So 3 multiplied by 3 plus 1 gives us 9 plus 1, which is 10, which is our third term. So we know that our answer is correct. Have a go at this question on your own without looking at my working out. Question 6C, find the nth term of the following sequence. Now this might look complicated, but it's actually very straightforward. So let's go ahead and do this question. We have 2 over 3 over 4 over 7, 6 over 11, and 8 over 15. We use the exact same method as we did in the previous question, but the only difference is that we will have 2 nth terms that we will put together to have one overall nth term for this sequence. So let's start with the numerators. We have 2, 4, 6, 8. The first step is to work out the difference between each term, which is plus 2. This means that our sequence, only the numerators relate to the 2 times tables, which is 2n. So let's write down our 2 times tables. We have 2, 4, 6, 8. As you can see, 2n matches our sequence, which means the numerator, the nth term for the numerator is just 2n. So let's write down the nth term here. Now let's do the denominators. For the denominators, we have 3, 7, 11, and 15. So let's just rewrite this at the bottom so we have some more space. Okay, so the first step is to work out the difference between each term, which is plus 4. This means it relates to 4n, which is the 4 times tables. So if we write down the 4 times tables, we get 4, 8, 12, 16. As you can see, 4n does not match our sequence. So we need to work out how we get from 4n to our sequence. As you can see, we just need to take 1 away in each case, leaving us with 4n minus 1. Okay, and that's the nth term for our denominators. Okay, so nth term is 2n over 4n minus 1. So quite straightforward. We just had an extra step. Now let's check if our answers are correct. Let's just pick a random term and substitute our value of n to see if we get the same term. So if we choose 6 over 11, which is the third term, and at the third term, n is equal to 3, so if we substitute n is equal to 3, we should get 6 over 11. So 2 multiplied by n, which is 3, over 4 multiplied by n, which is 3, minus 1, gives us, so 2 multiplied by 3 is 6, 4 multiplied by 3 is 12, minus 1 is 11, and that's our third term. So our answer is correct. The nth term is 2n over 4n minus 1. Okay? So pause this video and have a go on your own without looking at my working out to check if your answer is correct. Thank you for tuning in. Remember, practice makes perfect. Never give up. I will see you in the next tutorial.